Ireland and the world take to the streets. We're here in central London talking to individuals about Palestine and Israel.
On Saturday, the 7th of October, a steady escalation of violence in the occupied Palestinian territories culminated in Hamas, an armed Palestinian group with its own agenda, infiltrating Israeli territory and carrying out brutal attacks on civilians. What followed was the beginning of Israel's heavy bombing, concentrated on the enclave known as Gaza.
Any normal thinking human being can see you have 2 million innocent people that have not done or condoned anything Hamas have done. They're just there and they are living their lives under occupation, and we're going in and we're bombing them, and it's none of our responsibility? Like,
just our hearts are with the people in Gaza and all the people who are standing against the war and all the people who are standing against the bombing. We're with you. We are with you.
Occupation no more!
This demonstration began outside BBC offices in a direct criticism of the role of mainstream media in the continued dehumanisation of Palestinians. What is clear is that people are dying, and what's fueling the anger is that whilst much of the media and Western governments are deafeningly silent, a horrifying reality is unfolding before our eyes.
We only know what we see on television, but it looks like the Second World War. It looks catastrophic, and it really looks like the Israeli government is trying to do a genocide on Palestinian people. I'm African American, and my family, we've lived through racism and apartheid, and what we see happening to Palestinians is what happened to us, as people of color.
This isn't the first time that thousands of people have taken to the streets in London to show their support for the Palestinian people. Today they're marching to Downing Street, where the Israeli flag has been plastered on the front of the building. Many feel that this is the UK giving Israel the green light to carry out its bombardment of Gaza.
I'm not surprised, frankly, because they're always on the wrong side. They never stand with the people. They're always with the wealthy, the 1%, the racists. So I'm not surprised, but I am furious that this government is backing up what Israel is doing, because it's catastrophic.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. We will never let you die.
Gaza is home to over 2 million people, and Israel has dropped more bombs there in 1 week than the US did in Afghanistan over an entire year. Those protesting are outraged and distraught by the number of civilian casualties, which is already in the thousands.
Well, I have children myself, and when I see some other families' children killed, and they have no bodies even, they burned, they just cut of pieces, and it's just, if you're fighting, there is, even in war, there is rules. And this is against all rules, It's basically a massacre that they're doing in Gaza, which is nobody can accept. Even Israeli people, civilians that have some sense, they will be against it. And that's why we're here today.
I saw something that encouraged me, and there was a demonstration before the attack by Hamas, and it was in Jerusalem, and it was Women for Peace, and it was an Israeli group of women, an Israeli group of women called Women Wage Peace, and a Palestinian group of women called Women of the Sun, and they came together and they said, whatever happens, and this was before the Hamas invasion, just talking about the ongoing atrocities and the ongoing suffering of the Palestinian people, and they said we must come together and we must have women at the negotiating table to talk about how we can go forward from this, because things are already, before this ever happened, terrible for Palestinian people.
And as UK government policies gradually infringe on the British public's right to freedom of speech and right to protest, these people are defiant. They will stand up for human rights, and they will not be silenced.
Well, I knew it was probably the only thing I could do that would make some sort of impact on the British government and give encouragement to Palestinians who might hear that there was a massive rally and massive march in London, and it would have some force. Also, I think UN negotiators are trying to push for a ceasefire, and it might encourage them to push harder.
This is a fight where everybody is together. It doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're Jew, whether you're black, white, Asian, whether you're atheist, whether you're Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Right and wrong are very clear. There's an absolute clear understanding that innocent civilians by law are protected, right? You cannot bomb phosphorus bombs onto them. You cannot corral them into a tiny space. You cannot drop bombs indiscriminately on hospitals. You can't have a civilian population in an enclosed space which you have control over everything for and expect that not to be called a genocide.
The problem is that at the moment we have in Israel there is the most extreme right-wing government that we have in there, which is controlled by settlers, by people which they benefit from war and they benefit from killing, because that's what basically feed them.
This was an anti-Zionist, anti-war demonstration, where protesters called for an end to the siege on Gaza, an end to the occupation of Palestine, and an end to the killing of all innocent civilians.
Thank you so much for watching The Real News Network, where we lift up the voices, stories, and struggles that you care about most. And we need your help to keep doing this work, so please tap your screen now, subscribe, and donate to The Real News Network. Solidarity forever.